Hey guys, it's Natalie and I'm here to do the AuthorTube Newbie Tag, something that I've been putting off for the longest time, but I decided it was time to jump in. So I think the best thing to do is just to answer all these questions, and I don't know who came up with the AuthorTube Newbie Tag. I will find that out and link that down in the description, but I just decided to jump on in today. So let's just jump right on in. Question number 1. How did you find out about AuthorTube? I found out about AuthorTube through BookTube. When I would look for BookTube newbie tags, a lot of people would do BookTube/AuthorTube newbie tags, and I'd be like, AuthorTube? What the heck is AuthorTube? And then I started watching some of the videos and I was like, oh, okay, I gotcha. So that is how I found out about it. Number 2, what genres do you write in? I always write in YA, even though I am not a teenager. For some reason, whenever I start writing, I become a teenager. I know that sounds really strange. I write YA mystery, but I've been told by many people that it's very dark comedy. I did not mean to be dark comedy. I was not trying to be comedic at all, but for some reason, whenever I add comedic elements to my writing, my critique partners and my writing teachers seem to just love it and say, oh, that is your strength, go with it. So I have become a YA dark comedy writer, which is kind of strange. Number 3, what is your preferred writing tense and point of view? I like to write in first person past tense, always. I actually had somebody tell me that maybe you should write your novel in third person, and I just looked at them and said, yeah, that's not happening. I am very open-minded at taking critiques and taking ideas from different people, but one thing that I will not do is write in third person. I don't mind reading in third person, but writing in third person is just not for me. I love the question for number 4. It took me a minute to figure out what in the world it was even asking. Are you a plotter, pantser, or plantser? So I'm assuming, I know what a plotter is. I'm assuming a pantser is somebody who writes by the seat of their pants. And then a plantser maybe is a combination of the two, I'm assuming. I used to be a pantser until I realized I could never get past chapter 4. And then my story would just completely fall apart because I'd have 10 different subplots going on and it just wasn't good. And then I realized I needed to become a plotter. Now, I don't mean like a hardcore plotter, but I needed to have like a summary of each chapter. And once I started doing that, writing became a lot easier for me. So I wish I could be a pantser, but I just can't. 5, are you self-published, published, or yet to be published? Technically, I guess I'm yet to be published. I had a few short stories published when I was a teenager, when I would enter writing contests and things like that. But when I finally do get to the publishing stage, I definitely am going to be a self-publisher, which my teachers and even my critique partners really don't like. Like when I'm at my writing studio, I don't really talk about wanting to be a self-publisher because I know so many people who are traditionally published and they just get very upset and start ranting about why I shouldn't do it. So I don't even bring it up at this point. 6, what publishing company, literary agent, and or printing company are you represented by or dream of? None of the above because I'm going to self-publish. Number 7, what AuthorTube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? Well, I am so lucky, and I realize that I am so lucky that I live 15 minutes away from the Muse Writing Center, which is one of the top 7 writing centers in the country. It is absolutely amazing. It not only has writing classes, it has workshops, which is what I'm getting ready to go to tomorrow. I have not been in my writing center for about 3 months. I kind of backed off from my writing because I wanted to focus on my BookTube channel for a while, but this summer I definitely wanted to jump back in, and I'm jumping back in tomorrow. I'm not being critiqued tomorrow. I will be one of the critiquers, but I do have to turn in something on Sunday, and next week I will be being critiqued, and I have not been critiqued in a long time, so I'm a little nervous. Nervous and excited because you usually get really good feedback, but then also sometimes you find out what you thought was great was not so great. Also, a reason that I hesitated for quite a while to join AuthorTube was what my content would be. But you know what? I had that same problem when I jumped into BookTube, and then once I jumped into it, the ideas kept coming, and now I can't keep up with the ideas. I have more ideas than I have time to film videos. And just today, when I decided that, you know what, forget it, I'm gonna go ahead and do this AuthorTube Newbie Tag. I've been talking about it forever, and just thinking about it for the last couple hours, my brain has been flooded with ideas. So like I was saying, I'm really lucky that I have this writing center / studio that is 15 minutes away. And they also have weekend seminars, which are like where you only meet one time for like 3 hours to work on something really specific. And anything and everything I learned, like I said, because I'm so lucky that I have this writing center, I would love to pass on to you guys. Like I said, I'm going into a critique group tomorrow that is new to me. I've been with the same critique group for like 2 years, but because they do a very intensive workshop in the summer and I just don't have the time to do as much writing that is needed for that workshop, I'm having to jump into a critique group with a new writing teacher that I do not know and people that I do not know. So where was I going? I just lost my train of thought. Oh, so since I was thinking about how I'm going into a new critique group, and I have had some great critique groups, and I've had some critique groups that were not for me, I was like, I'd like to do a video about finding the right critique group for you, because that is so essential. And like I said, my brain has just been flooded with ideas, so now I'm not so worried about it. But anything that I've learned, any techniques that I pick up, like I said, I'm so lucky. I mean, they have authors come from all over the country to do one-day seminars that I get to go to. So any tips and things that I can learn that I can share with you guys, definitely want to do that. So like I said, I didn't think I'd have anything to share with you guys. And then like I said, as soon as I started thinking about it, I went, oh my gosh, I could talk about this, and I could talk about this, and I could talk about this. So I'm not concerned now, but I will definitely share what I've learned. 8, when did you start writing? I started writing at a very early age, not only fiction, but when I'm very upset with a family member, starting at a very early age. If I need to tell somebody something and I just am so angry, I'm so full of emotion, I just can't, speak it, I will write it. And even now, with my husband, if we were in a super big fight, I usually end up writing him like a 6-page letter, because I just cannot get my thoughts out with my words, but I can get them out perfectly on paper. So as soon as I guess I could pick up a pencil, I've been using writing as a means to communicate. But even as a kid, I would start books. I'd be like, I'm going to write a book, and I'd write like 4 or 5 pages. And then, of course, having severe ADD, I never went back to it. But I always had the idea of wanting to write a book. Number 9, what was the first story you ever wrote? I cannot remember the very first story I ever wrote, but the first story that I ever wrote that had major significance because it got published in the paper and it was a contest that I won, which was so exciting. They started off a story about some boys who are walking into the woods or something, and then you had to finish it out. And so I wrote about them meeting their ghosts of like their grandparents or something. I can't remember the details of it. My mom has it somewhere, but obviously the people liked it because they had a lot of people enter and they liked mine the best. There was actually 4 people who won, but they printed mine first, so I think they liked mine the best. 10, what authors have inspired your writing the most? I can't say there's one author or 2 authors that have inspired my writing the most. I really like Megan Miranda's style of writing, so something similar to that, but with a little bit more humor is maybe what I'm eventually going for. Number 11, do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get to write whenever you can find the time? Once again, I am so glad I have a writing center where I have writing submissions that are due, because that really pushes me to get my writing done. I'm one of those people, I need a deadline. And if I know I have a certain, this week, Sunday night is my deadline to finish cleaning the latest draft of one of my scenes, that really helps me. So having a writing studio, I don't know, I guess that, yeah, I write when I'm having writing classes, and sometimes when we have a break, I will take a break from my writing. So I wish I could be one of those people who says, oh, I write every day. And if I did write every day, that would probably make me an immensely better writer, but I'm just not that, not responsible. I mean, I wish I could write every day, but I'm just not one of those people who can stick with something like that. I wish I could. 12, do you type on a computer, typewriter, or write out by hand? If I didn't have a writing center and I was just writing on my own, I would have thought writing out by hand, are you crazy? But actually, I know a lot of people who do write out by hand. No, I use a computer. I don't use a typewriter. But yeah, I have actually been surprised about how many people say, I have to write it out by hand and then I type it up. And I'm thinking, wow, that is a lot of work. But hey, if it works for you, then go for it. 13, what are you most looking forward to now that you're part of AuthorTube? I'm really looking forward to having you guys teach me, because I love it when I learn a new technique or somebody just gives me, you know, just something that's going to help me. For example, I was talking to one of my writing friends, and one of the things that I have to work on personally in the novel that I'm working on is that I've been told by numerous writing teachers and critique partners that my main character is so well developed. Like, stop developing her. She is perfectly fine. But your supporting characters need a lot more development. So one of my friends went to a workshop and she said, I heard that if you come up with like 50 random scenes, like, you know, somebody goes to the store and they buy a TV and when they come home it's broken, and when they go back to the store's like, oh, you must have broke it, or, you know, kind of situational kind of things. Come up with 50 and then choose like 5 randomly, and then take each character from your book and put them in those situations and have them, you know, see how they would react in those situations, and you can kind of get to know your characters better and develop them better. And I went, that is a brilliant idea. So that's actually something I'm going to be working on this weekend, actually probably Saturday, is doing that, since I have to really, like I said, clean up this scene that I'm turning in on Saturday. And since I keep being told that my secondary characters are not developed enough, I thought that was a brilliant idea. So any brilliant ideas I would love to share, or things that I wish I had known before I started even going into the writing process. And then obviously any hints, tips, anything that you guys can give me, I will absolutely be so appreciative of. I also wanted to give you guys an idea of what I meant when I said that the writing center I go to has these 3-hour one-time classes on the weekends that really are specific. And so I wrote down an example of some of those classes so you would know what I mean by really being a specific one-time 3-hour class. Like, coming up, they have a class called Creating a Character Web, which I'm actually really considering taking for my secondary characters. Another one they have is how to create the crucial central conflict. Another one is witnesses and suspects, how to write police interviews, interrogations, and investigations. As you can see, that's really a specific thing to write. The art of writing fight scenes. Another one was settings, giving your character somewhere to go. And those are just a few. I mean, like I said, if you put the Muse Norfolk into your Google search engine and you see everything they have, you can see, whoa, they have a lot. And if you live in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia, which I don't know how many of you do, that's a very specific location, but even if you just live in Virginia or North Carolina, that maybe you're just an hour or 2 hours away from the Norfolk, Virginia area, I know taking classes that are like Thursday nights are not something that you could do, but definitely you could come up and do some of these weekend courses. They even have little writing camps that last like an all-day Saturday or an all-day, where a lot of people from out of the area will come to do these one-day all-day classes / summer camp, as they call it, which is really cool. So I cannot express to you how great this place is, that if you have access to it or you are anywhere close to this area and you're interested in writing, definitely check it out. So thank you for watching my AuthorTube Newbie video. I definitely felt a lot more comfortable filming this than I did my BookTube Newbie video. So I'm very excited. I'm jumping back into my writing. I'd taken a break for a while and I'm ready to jump back in, and I cannot wait to find out and meet so many more of you guys. Like I said, I know so many booktubers, but I don't know that many author-tubers, and I really am excited to meet more author-tubers so we can exchange ideas and hopefully get through this process together. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video. Thanks.